and welcome to Small Town Big Business, a podcast about doing big business in small town rural America. We're glad to have you with us. I'm Jennifer Olson. I'm the Director of Business Development for the City of Marion.
And I'm Russell Williams. I'm Director of Ethos. Ethos is a small business incubator. We offer co-working spaces and also do training and development for small businesses and nonprofits. We're here in downtown Marion, Illinois on the historic Tower Square Plaza. Thank you for joining us today. And thank you to our sponsors for sponsoring the Small Town Big Business podcast. So a shout out to Arcadia Wealth Group, Black Diamond Harley Davidson and RV, Fowler Heating and Cooling, the Swinford Media Group, Watermark Auto Group Foundation, Banterra Bank, and also Southern Illinois Now.
Joining today, I'm Joe Shinkuski here with the Upright Group. Super special guest today, big community development guy, been around for a long time. Brian Gansauer, Community Bank President with People's National Bank.
Thanks,
How's
Joe.
it going?
It's going well. I'm glad to be here. And thanks for the invite.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it.
Welcome, Brian.
Yeah.
Tell us about your background. You had just asked me about my background before we started this recording.
Well, do you have enough time for my background?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I'm an old guy. I mean, you look at me. I've been around a while, so there's a lot of history. I grew up in Xenia. I don't know. Do you know where Xenia is?
I've heard of Xenia. Yeah.
Really?
Basketball team?
No.
Did they not have a good basketball team?
No,
Okay.
It's a town of 500.
It's a small
between
town.
Salem and Flora.
Yeah, okay.
Long story, and I hate to dwell on this, but I'm going to go through it very quickly. My parents, dad was a World War II veteran, and he stayed in the Army after World War II for 25 years and retired in 1965. They were going to send the Army was going to send him on a tour back to Vietnam, and he decided he'd fought in World War II and Korea, and that he'd been shot at enough and was going to get out. My mother was originally from Xenia and had some connections there. Long story short, the bank in Xenia was looking, their president at the time was going to retire. And they hired Dad. Dad came in and trained under him for a couple of years and became the president of the Xenia First National Bank. Wow. So that's, while I lived many other places, Xenia is what I call home. That's really what I remember. Mm-hmm. So grew up in a rural area.
Yeah. And what have you done in life as far as career goes?
Well, Dad had planned for me to come in and take the bank over after he retired. I started working at the bank while I was in high school as a teller through the summers. And I learned early on that I probably couldn't work with my dad. And I regret that decision all of these years later, but the fact of the matter is I couldn't have done that. So while I was in college, I became a college intern with Northwestern Mutual Life and had success during that 2-year program, and of course was in love and wanted to get married and needed a job. So I went full-time with Northwestern Mutual Life after graduating and did that for between 20 and 25 years. So,
wow.
Yeah.
I know your story. We talked to a lot of entrepreneurs on the podcast. I know there were some, maybe not detours, but you definitely had some focus on the side with property. Can you go into that a little bit?
Sure. So in addition to that business, my brother and I started buying rental properties in 1991. On the side, Bruce is 13 years older than I am. I hate to say that. I look older than he does. But anyway, 13 years older than I am. Convinced me to do that, and the first we bought 2 or 3, and they were running well, and we thought, hey, this isn't too bad, and we continued to buy. We ended up ultimately only in 400 doors between Salem and Carbondale.
That's a lot.
It was a lot.
How did you work with your brother? You mentioned your dad, but was working with your
Actually,
brother
we worked well together.
Yep.
Yeah, we did. And part of that not working with my dad was immaturity on my side of the table. So it really was.
And your experience as an entrepreneur, how did that influence your leadership now with People's?
Well, a couple of things as far as leadership goes that I've learned is I've never asked anybody to do something that A, I haven't done myself, or B, wouldn't be willing to do. I've learned that from being in business. You can't ask and then I've tried to make sure people know how to do what I'm expecting from them as well. And I learned that just over the years of running my own business.
Did you expect to eventually get into banking?
No. No. I had no desire.
That,
I had no desire to become a banker.
Yep.
So yeah,
so what happened?
Yeah. When I retired, I had enough years with Northwestern Mutual Life. I could sell the business, so I sold the business out. My brother and I, at that time, we had about the 400 doors, rental properties. Then we thought we'd do that full time. Did that for 4 years, and at that point, my daughter was 5 at the time, was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, juvenile diabetes. And we ran into health insurance problems. This was before Obamacare and so forth, and we couldn't change insurance companies, and my premium was just through the roof, and frankly, I couldn't afford to stay with what we were doing. So we came to the conclusion that either one of us had to buy the other one out, or we need to liquidate the business. So we decided to liquidate, and it was during that time I had not sent a resume out to anybody, but God does take care of us. I had a small bank call me out of the blue and said, "Hey, our commercial lenders quit. We need somebody. We know you have all the I've got all the fancy financial degrees letters behind my name. Would you have any interest?" And it so happens I had set up their retirement plan and their group health insurance plan 4 or 5 years earlier. And my first question was, "Do you still have the health insurance plan that I set up for you?" "Yeah." And I said, "When can I start?" So that's how I got into banking.
That's good.
Yeah.
What year was that?
Oh my goodness, that would have been around 2000 or so.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you've been with People's National?
I've been here 16 years.
16 years.
Yeah.
That's excellent.
Yes. Yep.
So is banking the same eventually, like across the United States, or is rural banking something unique? Do you guys?
I'd like to think that it's unique and that we have a chance to really know our clients and get to know them. We work with them. We see them in the communities. We see them at church. We see them in the grocery store. We see them at the Little League games and those kinds of things. I think if I were in Chicago or St. Louis or New York, that just wouldn't be the case. Mm-hmm. We really develop some tight bonds with our customers, I believe.
Can you tell us a little bit about the area you run, as president? How far does it go?
Yeah, I'm president of what's called our southern region with People's National Bank, and I'm covering pretty much everything south of Interstate 64. We have 23 locations total as a company right now. Mm-hmm. So primarily in southern Illinois. We have a couple spots in the St. Louis metro area as well.
And what about, so rural area like Russ mentioned, how much of it is supporting farmers, ag? I know you guys get into that a lot.
Yeah, a large portion of our loan portfolio is in the ag industry. In fact, we were recently named one of the larger ag banks in the nation. Yeah. I think you saw that article. Mm-hmm. So that's where a lot of our focus and attention is.
What's the biggest opportunities for entrepreneurs right now as far as how the community bank can help them?
I think there are changes, obviously a lot of change going on, right, out here in the business world. Probably not new, but I think the change has been accelerated due to COVID. That's the old man's opinion. I think due to COVID, change has been accelerated, and by that, more technology. I think if an entrepreneur can find a niche, I think opportunities are if you can sell your services or products anywhere in the world from Southern Illinois. Mm-hmm. You don't have to be in the big city anymore to develop those contacts. Yeah. I still think there are opportunities. If I were starting over, I would look for, what are the needs of my local area, my region? What needs are out there that are not being filled, and what can I do to fill those needs? Mm-hmm. That type of thing. So there are a lot of opportunities that still exist. Okay. I do think access to capital is harder than it was when I started in business in 1980, 82, and 83. Mm-hmm. Back then at the Xenia First National Bank, I clearly remember seeing loan documents signed that were literally one page. And if anybody's borrowed money lately, that's just not the case anymore.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Bit of a handshake during that time.
It was. Yeah. It was. And a lot of that loan decision was based on your character and your, did they know you, did they know the family, and so forth. So that's not the case anymore. Yeah, unfortunately.
I was going to say that seems like a better time. I don't know about better, but can you compare it kind of?
Yeah, it was easier.
Yeah.
It was easier. There wasn't the red tape to jump through. A lot of people, a lot of business owners, especially banks, I think banks probably are seen as making it hard to obtain loans. Mm-hmm. And the fact of the matter is it is harder than it was in the 80s. But that's being driven by our regulators. The regulators have forced a lot of what customers see onto us, and we have to comply. Mm-hmm. So it is harder.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about risk. That's something that it seems to be the wall for a lot of entrepreneurs, especially coming up to a place like Ethos Small Business Incubator. And we talk about what monetary level they would need to come in at and where that funding could come from. And sometimes that just, they're adverse to risk. Mm-hmm. So what advice would you give?
I think if I were talking to a young person starting a business, any kind of business, first of all, would make sure they have a team around them, a team of advisors that are good. And that would be, in my mind, an accountant, an attorney, and a banker, or their financial partner, whoever that may be, and listen to the advice they're being given. Risk, it's easier to get into debt than it is to get out of debt. I think we all could agree with that. It's easier to get into debt than it is to get out of debt. And one of the things as a banker, coming from my background, is I've never wanted to help somebody get into more debt than they could handle. So very conscious about that, and I try to make sure my customers and my prospects are as well. So a lot of projections, a lot of thoughts, coming to possibly people like you, Russ, that can help them with a business plan, make sure they have a business plan in place, and have thought through their ideas of what they want to accomplish.
Yeah, I love that. Is it possible to start a successful business right now without getting into some kind of debt? The bootstrap kind of approach.
Yeah, I think it's very difficult.
Yeah.
That's how I sleep at night, doing what I'm doing by selling money, basically.
Yep.
I don't know that you can run a business today without having some leverage at some level. It's virtually impossible, in my opinion.
Why do you think that is? I mean, I know costs are up for
Costs
families.
are up. The cost of doing business is much higher than it was 10 or 15 or 20 years ago. Margins have slipped in most industries over time, even in the banking world. I mean, we see margin compression happening. So I think that's part of the overall picture, if that makes sense. So
Yeah. You mentioned us changing to more of a global market, which is not just a trend, but that's a major change. But
Right.
what other trends do you see, or what other changes do you see, especially for Southern Illinois businesses?
I think that Southern Illinois businesses will continue to do well if they're postured right. By meaning, do they have the right product mix? Do they have the right service mix? Can they deliver timely and cost efficiently? I think that'll always be the case. I think that going forward, the way we deliver products and services it will continue to evolve. At least I know in the banking world, I think it's going to change dramatically. It has changed. I'd look at you in this room. How often do you physically go to a bank anymore? Going to answer?
No offense, but I'm not a big fan.
Right?
Yeah.
So, I wouldn't go to a bank anymore if I didn't work at one, right?
Right.
So what does that mean? That means that people in positions like myself, I spend most of my time in my car with my cell phone and a iPad in front of my clients and my prospects at their place of business. And that is a huge shift from what banking was known for in the past.
Absolutely.
And what's driving that? It's just the convenience, effect, customers wanting to have a little bit more control.
I think it's a lot of it's driven on time. Customers don't have time. Again, I liken this, 20 years ago, golf scrambles were a great way to raise money, right?
Yeah.
And they still are. I'm not knocking golf scrambles, but there was a time you could call somebody, hey, I've got a chance we're going to play in a scramble. Would you like to play? And everybody was, we'll be there Friday. Today, that's difficult to put together a team to go play in a scramble. And I think it's just business owners are, they're doing more with less is what I think has happened over the last few years.
I think it's a good point. I like what you said earlier about kind of building your small dream team around you as you're starting a business. How important has networking been to you? Because a lot of that, you got to kind of push yourself out there and try to find those people. Yeah.
If I had it to do over again, I would have found somebody in that marketing field that I could have partnered with earlier on than I did. Yeah. I really would have, because it's key. Especially in today's world, the digital world that we're in.
Have you always been kind of a natural networker to entrepreneurs who kind of struggle with getting out there and kind of building?
I have been, and I think that's just a gift. It can be taught. I think naturally, if I had not been taught some of the skills that I have, I might be more of an introvert than you would believe. I would stay home and play my guitar and not talk to anybody. But I think that is a skill set that can be taught and learned. I do.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like through your experience, you've also invested in your training and your development.
Yes.
Talk about how important that is, because that's the field that Ethos is partially in.
Yeah, I probably can't articulate how important that is. That is the thing. You've got to be willing to partner with somebody like yourself and Ethos to get that training, because I'm not sure It concerns me in the insurance and investment business that was provided to us. But when I got away from that, I mean, in the banking industry, and this isn't a slam towards anyone, but it doesn't exist as much as it did in that world, or if the financial planning world, for example. I think entrepreneurs really do have a struggle with finding people like you to help coach them along the way. It's a huge struggle,
especially in culture development.
Yes,
for organizations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you talk about people's a little bit in terms of how you try to, cascade that down to your people as far as training, development, plugging them into the community? It seems like every other day you guys are out there doing something, supporting people.
We think that's important. I mean, I'm very fortunate to work for a company that is owned by two entrepreneurs, two brothers that are entrepreneurs at heart. And I don't mean to make this an advertisement, but I'm going to say this. We work really, really hard to get to a yes answer and provide solutions to the borrower if we can't get to a yes, help them understand why and what they need to change to get to a yes answer. So I stress that I stress to my team, I've sat most of my life on the other side of the desk in here asking for money.
Yep.
I mean, I know what it's like, and I try to help them learn and listen, learn to listen, ask the right questions, get to know those customers. I think my team, I'm really proud of them, they care. I think we do care about our clients more than maybe some others do.
Yeah.
There's some people in our communities that will always look at the disadvantages of small town Southern Illinois, but there clearly are advantages
of
goodness. Living here, working here, developing a business here. What have you seen?
Well, I've lived my entire life in Southern Illinois, raised my family in Southern Illinois. I'm a Southern Illinois believer. Listen, it's a great place to live for a lot of reasons. First of all, our cost of living here is really pretty inexpensive. I mean, look, look at what your home, your personal residence. What would that same residence cost in St. Louis or Chicago or New York or LA or any large metropolitan area? We get so much more bang for our buck in Southern Illinois than you can get anyplace else. Secondly, I mentioned earlier the opportunity to really get to know people. Communities has always been important to me, and I think that's important to Southern Illinois. That's something that we probably undersell. I mean, that we do develop relationships with people here. All the outdoor activities that are within driving distance. And, we're close enough to the large metropolitan area. St. Louis comes to my mind. I mean, we can be there, to take in the professional sports and the nice concerts and so forth and shows. So I think we have all of that within driving distance. I think we don't sell ourselves well enough in Southern Illinois.
Yeah.
Super successful in pretty much everything you've done. Sure, you had chances to leave or offers to leave. What did
many
40
years? Yeah.
So, were any of those close or
no?
Yeah, interesting.
No. Family and connections and relationships are really important to me on a personal level.
Yeah. Let's get into personal too. Plus, you got your bands. You're rocking guitar, lead guitar.
I do play rock and guitar, or I try. I'm not the best in the world, but I get by. So anyway.
Tell us about your background there, if you could.
Started playing music in grade school. Grade school band, played the saxophone. Got into high school, and we went to Flora High School. And what happened for me personally at that time, now the younger people listening to this may not grasp this, but it was difficult to participate in extracurricular activities because of the distance. And it wasn't a big distance, but it was enough that 10 miles each way, not enough, carpooling happening, a lot of things you didn't participate in. And when I got to high school, band was one of those, didn't participate any further. My sophomore year, some friends, at this point I had my driver's license, had some friends, the Randall brothers, who are still friends to this day. They were great family musicians, and we started a band called Four on the Floor. And that's where I picked up the guitar and started learning the guitar. And we started playing at grade schools and some high school things. So that's really was my start of music.
Yeah, awesome. And then now we can find you on some weekends. Where do you mostly play?
Well, we try to stay, we're old now, we try to stay to the winery venues because of the time slots. Those are usually like
Earlier.
2 o'clock afternoon, and we're done by 6 at the latest. So can't handle those 1 or 2 a.m. shows anymore.
Yeah, what a party animal.
Oh, yeah.
Did you say the name of the band?
The current band is the Repeat Offenders, made up of some great musicians that I'm very fortunate and blessed to know. Probably the biggest claim to fame of that band is our bass player is Larry Boyd, and Larry and his brother Roger Boyd founded Head East.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, again,
Awesome, yeah.
I'm telling my age, younger people will recognize Head East, but they were the founding members of Head East.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
And other community civic involvement?
I'm on in Salem. I physically live in Salem. I spend 3 nights a week or so in Benton. I have an apartment down here in this region. I'm on our Salem Township Hospital Board. I've been on that board about 3 years now. I think local hospitals are key to small communities, and my goal with that time that I spend there is to make sure we remain viable. I've seen too many communities suffer when the hospital closes. The community ultimately falls apart, it seems.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So do that. I'm involved with Rotary. I'm a Rotarian. I serve on, we have a foundation board in Salem called the Greater Salem Area Foundation. We raise money, and we use the funds that we raise to help people that have had a crisis hit, whatever. They can't pay their rent this month, or we've seen a lot of electric bills the last few weeks. I mean, right, we're all seeing that.
Yeah.
And these are people that are working. They've had something happen and can't make it that month. So we're able to help them with those kinds of things. And then I sit on a healthcare foundation board that's based out of Centralia. Same type of thing. People with medical expenses traveling back and forth to St. Louis, we can help.
Yeah, that's good.
With gas and food and hotel costs.
Yeah.
Man,
So
busy man.
it is.
Yeah.
Sometimes too much.
And shout out to Salem. I think Salem's a fantastic
Salem's
town.
a great community.
Yeah.
And again, but I think that's true of all of Southern Illinois. I mean, if somebody has a real crisis, I mean, it's amazing how quickly you can go out and raise several $1,000s to help those folks.
Yeah.
I just know you can't do that every place else in the nation.
Yeah.
I used to staff the Relay for Life event with the
Did
American
you?
Cancer Society, and Salem was one of my assignments.
Yeah.
Was one of the strongest, not my biggest town, but was one of my strongest.
believe
And
that.
they would raise $150,000
yes.
in their season. Yeah, it was really neat.
Wow, that's great.
That is.
Do you have tips for business owners or entrepreneurs who want to get involved in boards? Seems like you're on a lot. You've cracked that nut. That can be kind of a struggle sometimes for people. But
I think try to find something. Don't join any organization to do it solely for networking or trying to better yourself financially. Your heart needs to be in it.
Yeah.
That's my advice.
yeah, I think that's great.
Any advice for someone that in a small town and they're wanting to look at starting a business, invest in their community, but really unsure where to start?
Again, I would get with Ethos if I were in Marion or the region down here, and I would start there, get a business plan put together, get your team assembled, and really do due diligence on that before you take a leap. Make sure you're working with somebody that's helping you think through all the possibilities, good and bad.
Yeah, great.
Do you have any stories? You don't need to name names, but small entrepreneurs who kind of came into your office and said, "Man, I got an idea for this," or can you give me a little bit of a head start here? Anything come to mind there?
Yeah, I've seen some auto body shops. One gentleman flourish, not because of me. He's done the work, but he has taken some advice from us, from the bank. Have a gentleman that owns a huge real estate portfolio now that he didn't 15 or 20 years ago. Cool. Rental properties primarily. Another one that comes to mind that's a sizable employer is a nursery, a wholesale nursery. Same thing, had the idea, started small, and continued to expand. So,
Cool.
yeah.
That's got to make you feel good when you
That's
see
why
it
I'm
growing.
in the business. That's what I really enjoy, knowing that I had some kind of small part in their success.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yep.
Well, Southern Illinois definitely is changing. Just in the time that I've been working here in downtown Marion, of course, changes a lot.
Probably hear the cranes and things
Yeah,
moving
yes,
behind us.
you can see it behind us. That's right. But in terms of vision, what do you see as vision for Southern Illinois in the next 5 to 10 years? And is People's National Bank part of that vision? What do they see happening and how to support?
We are obviously People's National Bank's wholly invested in Southern Illinois. Our ownership's from Southern Illinois, the two brothers. They will not go anyplace that we're here. I think that looking into the future, I'd like to see the region. Here's an idea, and if it works, I'd like to get some fee income from this. Okay. I think we do need to develop a regional SWAT team. Mm-hmm. If you think about this, every day in the nation, there is a business owner that's wanting to retire, has no heirs, and wants to sell. Yep. You have business owners that have died. or you have situations where business owners are divorcing. At any rate, all three of those are triggering events that they need to sell businesses. I think we have the capital available in Southern Illinois. If we had a SWAT team and we could fly to wherever, we could buy some of those businesses and bring them back here and help employ people.
Yep.
I'd like to see us do that as a region, and over the next 5 to 10 years, I'd like to see that happen before I'm too old to be part of it. So,
Well, you're right on target. I see that all the time too.
Yeah,
And Monroe Cleaners, which is just down West Main Street here in Marion, is in that situation where they have the retirement. Really would love to sell the business and keep the cleaning business open, maybe in the next generation. Hasn't found quite the right combination, the connection there yet. So I'll put that on the podcast.
That's pretty common.
Looking,
That's cool to think of it nationally or regionally too, because I've seen a ton of CPAs, whether it's boomers, just like I'm done with all these tax seasons and the stress of it.
I've seen that
for
as well.
some reason. A lot of those are selling. So
Yes.
yeah,
I've
that's
seen that as
interesting.
well.
Are you seeing any other businesses or sectors?
Industry, they're all in light manufacturing. I see opportunities there. I think we have the workforce in Southern Illinois that I love what our junior colleges have done in Southern Illinois as far as the workforce training that's happening. I think that is really key for the next 5 to 10 years. Those skill sets that are helping young people develop. I'm excited about that. Point is, I think we have the workforce. If we could find the right businesses, get them back here. Because as I said earlier, I'm not so sure how important it is where you're located today, especially if you're a manufacturer of some sort. And I think we could probably prove up, even though Illinois seems to receive a really bad rap, I think stats really would prove that Illinois is not a horribly bad place to do business, frankly. So.
Well, I think Russ and I would sign up for that project. That sounds fun.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So Brian, tell us, why do you do what you do?
My why is I want to make a difference in people, a positive difference in people's lives while I'm here.
Yeah.
And life's short, and I know my thinking really changed when I hit that 40. For me, it was that 40 age mark, and we get up every day and we think we have forever, and the reality is none of us have forever. We're here for just a limited period of time. So as long as I can continue to make a positive difference in the lives of my clients, I will stay and do what I do. If the day came that I thought I couldn't make a difference, I'll go do something else.
That's great.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a great close right there.
It is.
I think you need your own podcast. This is great. Probably add that to the list.
Yeah, you can help with that.
Thanks so much for coming in.
Yeah, Brian,
It's been a
appreciate
blast.
it very
Glad to be here. I really appreciate the opportunity. It means a lot to me. Yeah. So thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
And we want to thank you for joining us on our episodes of Small Town Big Business. And we want to thank our sponsors for sponsoring us: Arcadia Wealth Group, Black Diamond Harley Davidson and RV, Fowler Heating and Cooling, Swinford Media Group, the Watermark Auto Group Foundation, and Banterra Bank in Southern Illinois Now. And also reach out to Union Street Arts. Luke O'Neill is our producer of this podcast. If you want to know more about Ethos, the small business incubator, courses and classes and mentorship, you can reach out to ethosmarion.org and find all about us.
And thank you so much for finding us. Please stay with us. I encourage you to go back and listen to prior episodes. There's some very good gems there and some great backstory to where we are today. We appreciate a share, a rate, a review. All of those things help us grow our audience. If you want to learn more about doing business specifically in the city of Marion, I'm your person, Jennifer Olson, Director of Business Development. You can find me on Tower Square Plaza at City Hall, and you can find my contact information on LinkedIn. Thanks for joining us.